Let's check this video out. I like this creator, right? I like this creator.
Fathers enforced standards, mothers nurtured. Remove one side and you don't get balance, you get chaos. And today you can see exactly what happens when the masculine side disappears.
Do you think you should fear your parents?
I think fear has a lot of meanings to different people. I think it's the kind and like what it does to your body.
It's like very evasive.
Yeah, I'm sorry. For me, I myself was in a unhealthy situation with my upbringing. It was not great, so I had so much therapy. And like I myself rebelled, I would say.
But do you think a child should fear their parents?
Honestly, no. I mean,
I'm sorry. I believe a child should both fear and respect their parents. Not fear in the way that that you're scared that your parent will kill you or, beat the shit out of you, abuse you. But you should fear punishment, fear their authority, fear the repercussions, right? Fear consequences.
I feel like you should.
And this is the feminine versus the masculine approach, right? I feared my dad. I feared the consequences of it. I loved him and still do. Love him to death. Great man.
Shit out of my dad.
Yeah, great man. But I was terrified if I fucked up that my old man was going to just lay into me. And he would.
Yeah.
Right? And so you know what I didn't do? I didn't fuck up. That's why I have a clean criminal record, right? That's why I've never been to jail. That's why I've never really had any of these substance abuse issues. None of that, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly what she refuses to admit. Fear of consequences is what prevents chaos. Every functioning household and every stable society is built on that principle. Without it, kids don't learn boundaries. They learn loopholes. And the result is what we're seeing everywhere today. Children who grow up anxious, unstable, or sitting in therapy because they were never given structure, only emotional cushioning. And it's not even about being harsh, it's about predictability. Kids need rules that mean something, consequences that actually happen, a framework that teaches cause and effect, responsibility, and self-control. When you replace that with feelings first, you don't create emotionally healthy adults, you create confused ones. This is the masculine approach Andrew is pointing to. Firm, consistent enforcement of consequences doesn't damage children. It prepares them for reality. It produces adults who can handle life, not collapse under it.
I think it's also like important because I think boys should honestly have a masculine figure in the household.
So should girls.
I agree, yeah. And like for me, my mom never had boyfriends.
Chris donated $200. My Asian parents were hard on me as a kid. I was resentful growing up. I am now a physician and make $100K a month and am grateful for the lessons they taught me. You are not mature enough yet, realize this.
Yo, Chris, thank you so much for the TTS, man. I don't know, is this directed at you if you want to do a response or?
That's cool, but I don't really want to be a physician.
Okay.
That is the delusion of modern entitlement. Someone presents a clear cause and effect. Strict parenting leads to discipline, competence, and stability. And her response is basically,
Evil Eddie! My brother, love you. Thank you for being here.
yeah, well, I don't feel like doing that. But that's the whole point. If you don't have discipline, you don't get to pick the outcome. This is why feminine emotional reasoning cannot be the guiding force of a household.
Do you recall?
I have ADHD, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So I was saying like,
I know what it was.
I think that it is definitely a feminine approach to not want to like fear your guardian or whatever. But like, Andrew gave a really example because in his case, I'm assuming from what I've heard, I don't know him that well, that his father did it in a way that really brought him up and like enforced being a good kid or something like
His
that.
father would kick his ass if he messed up.
Yeah, in my case, it was like my mom has mental health issues and she would act out of turn and say if I left a dish in the sink, well, suddenly things are being thrown at me. So it was like, for me, I was in a constant state of fear, not in like oh, I'm scared.
Sure, but I'm
like
not talking
in a-
about fear in the sense that like you're fearing for your safety just for nothing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about fear in the sense of fear of consequences.
This distinction is everything. Modern discourse pretends all fear is abuse, but there's a massive difference between fear of consequences and fear for survival. One creates structure, the other creates dysfunction. She keeps blending the two because she's filtering a general principle through personal trauma. But Jake and Andrew are discussing concepts. That's why the conversation isn't connecting.
I think that should be a thing. I think that it's important to have a parental role with someone who you respect enough to adhere to their lessons and
And which of the parents
regulations.
do you think is more likely to instill the fear of consequences?
So I'm not the best person for this because I never had
It's
a
a
father
pretty simple
figure.
question. Which parent do you think is more likely to instill a fear of
Happy, hope you have a good day.
consequences? Mother or the father?
For me, it was my mother. I didn't have any example of a father, no boyfriends, nothing. So I
Right,
don't
so
know.
traditionally, do you think that it's the father's job to instill consequences when the
Traditionally.
children act badly?
Yeah, traditionally, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a healthy fear to have?
Yeah, if it's executed like that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And I'd say for girls and boys, just the same. But today, in this sort of hyper feminine world that we live in, the mother's parenting tactic is seen as the best parenting tactic.
Who says that?
Well, I think that just in general these days, when it comes to parenting, we see a lot of, put them in the corner and then tell them that you love them, and then that's the way that you discipline a child.
And he is 100% right. Society treats the mother's soft, feelings-first parenting style as the gold standard and demonizes the father's discipline as abuse. And the result? A generation of
Yes, we can tell. We can tell.
men who fold under pressure, avoid responsibility, and act more feminine than the girls. And a generation of women who have zero boundaries and end up selling themselves for attention because no one ever told them no. Kids raised without a father's consequences don't grow into stable adults. They grow into problems. The father's approach builds strength, order, and direction. And the mother's approach, without the father's balance, just produces emotional chaos.
But the father's parental tactic is very different.
And this is the thing where this is the problem where sometimes I say single mothers are ruining our society because you cannot just teach your children one way and then hope for the best. You can't, because here's the thing where you are seeing, I don't know about you, right? But I'm seeing that gay mindset or gay just gaylessness or trans indoctrination is happening more and more, and I think that's for a lack of good male role models.
That the father's parental tactic isn't, oh, I love you so much and you messed up. The father's parental tactic is, you fucked up, here's the
School to prison pipeline. Yeah.
consequences. That's it.
Yeah, I think teamwork is really crucial in regular households because there are same-sex couples and stuff.
Lightstar, I don't. You have. I think you have such a traumatized view. When a woman gets married, she's basically selling herself to a husband who has expectations. I don't necessarily think like that. Marriage has a price. When it comes to women getting married, men expect things. First husband always told me I was a glorified. No, see, this is the thing where Lightstar, I think you are sadly suffering from your traumas, right? Because here's the thing where, one, if you talk about expectations, we all have expectations in relationships, right? A woman has expectations, a man has expectations. That should be promoted, right? Expectations should be promoted. The problem is, if you get in a relationship with like toxic people, you are going to be physically, mentally, emotionally abused, which I feel bad for you. But you cannot think like that, because then you are using your traumas from bad men and sticking that to, let's say, everyone in general, which is a bad thing. First husband was a U.S. military. Yeah, but he wasn't. He didn't process it correctly, right? I mean, he didn't come out of the military with a healthy mindset.
I think it's like valuable because both genders add different insights to the relationship and different people take on different kinds of roles. And I think that like traditionally the man of the household does generally have that portion of responsibility.
Yep. And you think that's just as important as the loving and caring aspect of it?
Yeah, it's yin and yang, as long as it's done in a way that like is healthy to that family dynamic.
Did you have a father figure who you feared consequences from?
The thing is, my dad wanted me aborted, so he kind of dipped the moment my mom didn't get the abortion.
So you didn't have a father figure that you feared
nothing.
Consequences of?
None. I only had my mom, and she was very intense. I still love her. We're on good terms, but
yeah, lots of the times when single mother households will produce this sort of thing.
Yeah, there's hella studies on it.
See, I know we all love to point out, correctly, that single fathers produce far better outcomes for children than single mothers. And studies back it, in some cases, almost equal to having both parents in the home. That is true. But here's the part nobody wants to acknowledge. With the massive surge in single mother households raising boys, and this cultural obsession with feminizing men, that gap is shrinking fast. And not in a good way. Because look around. Every generation of boys is more emotional, more passive, more fragile than the last. That's not a coincidence.
Steve, sorry for the things you've been through. Sorry for the things you've been through. Glad you didn't.
Tracks perfectly with the rise of fatherless homes and the normalization of
This is a thing where I want to support. I want to try to help people understand that, you know what? Gain strength from yourself, right? Don't let other people destroy you. This is why I believe I try to push men to be the strongest version of you, the best version of yourself. Don't let people destroy you. Don't let people destroy you. Right?
feminine style parenting as the best method.
I love it, right? I talked with some good friends and I walked away 100%. I love that. This is a thing where I wanted to create that brotherhood, right? Create that brotherhood where we can support each other, where, we would encourage each other. I would have, if I was around during that time, I would have encouraged you to walk away. Focus on yourself, my brother.
And if this continues, we're screwed as a society. There will no longer be a distinction between the outcomes. Having both parents will start producing the same outcome as having a single mother or a single father, because everyone is feminized in these setups. You cannot have a functioning civilization built on men who were raised without structure, without consequences, and without masculine discipline. Degeneracy skyrockets the
Evil Eddie, you are evil. You are evil.
moment men stop acting like men. And we're seeing that in real time.
I think obviously it's better to have both parents because you do need, having a mom is a crucial role. Like growing up, my dad was extremely hard and strict and he was a disciplinary. So I feared my dad growing up if I did something wrong. But I knew I could go to my mom's room and lay with her and she'd, scratch my head. And I had that balance. I think in this case, she didn't have that balance and her dad probably took the disciplinary actions too far, as we learned. And so she didn't have the mom role there. And
on that occasion where he tied her up, that was definitely an occasion where he took it too far.
And I'm sure that's not the only one.
But kicking her out, and you said you went to school drunk when you were 15. It seems like we said, there was a series of actions that led up to that consequence.
But do you not think that might...
And that's the anger and the resentment that came out because of it.
Here it comes. This is exactly the female groupthink nonsense that ruins any chance of honest accountability. The moment Jake starts outlining an actual pattern of behavior, suddenly she jumps in like a lawyer nobody hired, defending a story she wasn't even present for. Why? Because in these circles, being a woman means you automatically get a cheerleader. Facts optional. She's saying, I'm sure that was the only time. Based on what? A psychic vision? A sisterhood oath? You don't know the man. You don't know the situation. You don't know the history. But somehow you're qualified to rewrite the entire narrative to protect her feelings. This is why nothing gets solved. Women like this form a protective bubble around each other's bad decisions and then wonder why they keep ending up in chaos. They validate everything, excuse everything, and twist the story until the woman becomes the victim no matter what the facts actually say. Jake is laying out a clear pattern: drinking at 15, repeated misbehavior, consequences escalating, and instead of actually addressing that, she derails the whole thing with emotional fiction. And it enables the exact dysfunction they pretend to condemn.
You don't think that might be like an outcome of how I was disciplined?
Perhaps.
A little too hard?
See? Exactly what I was talking about. Classic reversal of causality. Instead of owning it, I misbehaved, so discipline increased. It gets flipped into, I misbehaved because discipline increased. No accountability, no responsibility. Just a constant stream of emotional justification to excuse bad behavior.
The thing is, like, that's all we have to go on, right?
Yeah.
It's like what you say. But what I've noticed with let's just call it the female machine, right? The female machine seems to operate on feel bad for me, feel sympathy for me, nothing I've ever done, I need to be accountable. Hang on, let me finish and then you can respond, right? Feel bad for me, nothing's my fault, I've never done anything wrong. All of this I have an excuse for. Look, here's my excuse. Let me pinpoint this excuse. This is what I hear kind of time and time and time again. It's really interesting. So I would just ask this. Out of all of you who are here who are making pornographic content, right? Is this really just like fuck dad? He's a piece of shit, and I'm going to go show my vagina on the internet to teach him a lesson? Is that is that what it's about?
No, I tried to not do it for like a year while I was in school, and it was really hard doing what was it, like 40 hours a week of school, 10-hour days, and then 2 days of the week doing 8 hours, so I had 1 day off a week.
Yeah,
and then I'd be falling asleep in school, and like that's not good when I'm cutting hair. It's not just studying, like I'm dyeing people's hair and cutting people's hair. I don't want to mess that up. So then I finally went back on OnlyFans, and then
I mean, sure, but you're
actually,
hardly the only person who's ever gone through cosmetology school. This is not a rough school to go through, right? My wife's a cosmetologist. It's not a hard thing to go through. It's not like this master level difficulty of just,
What school did she go to?
Somehow she was able to get all the way through cosmetology school while taking care of her grandmother. Well, I'm not going to name the school because I'm not going to dox any of that, but yeah, she went through cosmetology school while taking care of somebody who was invalid in her family.
That's the thing where, I'm sorry, a lot of women, I mean, now that you have, this is the thing where now you have gained the rights, right? The rights, the privilege to, live the life how you choose. You still choose to live a life stupidly, right? You still can't handle it. Where in the sense that, okay, you were complaining that you can't handle, the hardship of a 9 to 5, right? 9 to 5, and then having to go to school, all that stuff. Well, then that's adult. That's the life of an adult, right? Like, imagine this: men don't have an easy way out, right? Men don't have to go. Men don't have like, oh, let me do OF, right, as a man, so I can make hundreds, if not millions. Okay, so life can be easier. Men don't have that way out. Okay, men don't have a way out to make life easier for them. They don't. They have to suck it up and keep on moving forward. Yet women's like, this is so hard. 9 to 5. The life. I'm working. No, duh. That's life. Life isn't about easy shit. It isn't. Life is not easy for anybody. 5 to. What a bad way to make a living. Yeah, I mean, it's like, seriously. You complain. This is the problem I'm finding more and more. Women are complaining about being an adult. Guess what? Well, that's an adult. And then you're surprised that, let's say, incel, right? Weak men who are complaining about, life. That's why I don't hold incel men's hands too, right? These men lack accountability, right? Pick yourself back up, pick yourself up, and be a productive adult. Be a productive adult. Plain and simple. Same thing with these women, right? It's like trying to think that you can go about life easy, the easy path. Ridiculous.
She never had to sell her vagina online, right?
Well, I'm maybe not millions, but definitely thousands to sometimes hundreds of thousands. Selling your body, right? A lot of these women are selling their bodies online, making $1,000, couple $1,000, if not hundreds of $1,000s.
These things are not necessary prerequisites, in other words. Like you being tired in school, you working 40 hours a week, like, okay, yeah, that's normal. That's normal, right? Most people don't revert to selling themselves.
It definitely is sad. Definitely is sad that there's a lot of men on that is subscribed to OF. And I said this before. I don't support those men. Those men are disgusting. Those men are weak, in my opinion. One, you cannot be wasting your money on that shit. There's free shit out there. There's free shit out there. So really, why are you so stupid to waste your money on that? Second, come on, right? I mean, like, seriously, that's bottom of the barrel shit.
They already did.
Right.
Sell them, so I was like, well, they're already
Sure.
out there, so why don't I just go back?
That I understand. I understand the motivation of money. I want money.
Yeah, and then it gives me the free time to put my time and effort into things that I actually want to do. Like, hey, get clients, do hair, I throw events, I DJ and make music, like and I paint, like I do a lot of things, but I just want to have the free time to put my time into things that I want to use to grow my like future. I don't know.
And there it is, the pattern we've been talking about. Excuses, emotional justifications, feel bad for me logic. Nothing is ever their fault. And it shows up in real life choices, like going back to OnlyFans and rationalizing.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay that men complain, right? It's okay that men complain. That's life. Anyone can complain. Just pick yourself back up. Keep moving forward.
It. But this isn't just about money. It's about how repeated excuses and the refusal to take responsibility, reinforced by peers and social narratives, shape behavior. She's basically admitting, I've done this before, I'll do it again, and I'll rationalize it every step of the way. This is why accountability is crucial. You cannot fix a problem you refuse to acknowledge, and you cannot build a functioning society on feelings over consequences. If this resonates, drop a like.
That's interesting. I always like this guy. I definitely always like him. No, I think there will always be simps, right? I think there will always be simps. I think there will always be weak men. It's just that how many, right? How many will there be, right? How many weak men will there be? How many simps will there be? How many incels will there be? The best you can do is hopefully you can decrease the amount. In my opinion, controversially, I hope Redpill gets bigger. I hope Redpill gets more mainstream, right? Certain content creators, right? Certain content creators get bigger and become more mainstream and push, a better ideology for other people, a better philosophy, right? Because again, I've always pushed it. Like, don't be weak. Push yourself to be better. Okay? Don't be a doormat. Don't be a unproductive adult, right? Push yourself to be the best version of yourself.